Hello, welcome to Super Thoughts. Today we're going to look at flow state, the state of flow. It's been around for quite a few years, an area of positive psychology that's been studied. But what you may not know is that getting into flow, tapping into flow, takes you to the very core of who you are, your very central part of who you are as a being, your inner design, if you like, your motivations. I'll try and explain that as we go through. Let's have a quick look at and understand what flow actually is. So when people say they're in flow, what it means is that they are immersed, they're fully engaged, fully captivated by what they're doing. Time almost seems to stand still. You lose consciousness of those things around you and you're really caught up in what you're doing. You're in flow. And also that you go on to what we might call as getting in the zone, going into autopilot, and people are familiar with that term. So you're actually doing something that you're comfortable doing, you're fully engaged, time is standing still, and you are really caught up in the moment. And from that comes a real productivity, a real sense of fulfillment, an optimum performance point. So that's why people talk about tapping into flow. But what we don't really understand, most of us, is that it means that you can be the person you were designed to be. Because tapping into flow, as I said, takes you down to the point of your very core, your very internal motivational gearing, if you like. So let's have a look at that more closely. What the psychologists have developed is what they call the flow experience model. And this shows that when you move into a space where your skills and your talents are being fully stretched, you get a higher degree of satisfaction. So think about this. If you're traveling through life and you're living in the mundane, if you're doing the everyday, but you're never really pursuing a higher level of experience, then you won't be that satisfied. You won't be that fulfilled because you're not tapping into flow. So what are the criteria for a flow model? Well, there's a few. First of all, you have to have clear goals, a pathway to take this thing forward. So, do you know what you're trying to achieve? Do you have a pathway to follow? Are you clear on that? And you need feedback. You need feedback as to how you're progressing. How is your performance playing out? You need a looping system for getting feedback. Think about when you work with people, you actually give them feedback and you encourage them and you shape them. And that actually helps them to actually generate energy into the space to get the best return. And you need the right balance between the challenge and the skill. This is most crucial, the right balance between challenges and skills. You need to be stretched, but you need to think and be confident, and that's the key word. You need to be confident that you can actually deliver an outcome. So the real core word here is confidence, and that enables a delivery of an optimum performance. So why would you want to be tapping into flow? Well, you want optimum performance. You want optimum fulfillment, and you want optimum delivery of who you are on the inside. And the other thing that shows up from the research is that we're most fulfilled, we're most likely to tap into a state of flow when we're pursuing intrinsic motivations. So what are intrinsic motivations? They're the internal motivations, the internal reward system that we're looking to satisfy, not extrinsic. So think about your daily activities. You have status, you have power, you have role, you have financial reward for what you do, and that provides a degree of satisfaction, a degree of reward. But the most reward that you will tap into is the intrinsic reward, the internal reward. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that when you tap into your intrinsic motivations, you are tapping into how you were designed in the first place, your inner world, your inner design, and you're actually tapping into your destiny. Because what you're saying is, I'm giving myself license, I'm giving myself time and opportunity to actually become the person that I was designed to be. It's a very liberating, very exciting space to live in. Some people are just not prepared to do it. They want to stay in the norm, in the mundane, because it's safer. But some people, perhaps you, are prepared to step forward and say, I'm going to get into position and I'm going to enable myself, give myself license to tap into flow. So The reason for talking about this is we've already talked about getting into position and setting visions and so on, but this is where your passion connects with your purpose, your skills connect with the challenge that is set in front of you, and you can actually deliver things that you didn't realize you could. And when you're doing that, when you're in that moment, you're actually tapping into flow. So let me give you 3 examples of somebody who might be tapping into flow. Let's talk about a teacher. A teacher is saying, oh, well, I'm actually most satisfied when I'm teaching. Teaching makes sense, but there's actually another level, this intrinsic level we've been talking about. A teacher is probably more likely to be tapping into flow because they are equipping and enabling other people. So there's another level down here, this intrinsic level. Teaching, yes, understand that, very fulfilling. I like being a teacher. But what really floats my boat, what really takes me to the zone, is when I'm equipping and enabling others. Or a nurse. You might say, well, a nurse is or a doctor is most satisfied and most effective when they're giving medical care, medical support. But what it might be, if we analyse it a bit more closely, they are providing a degree of empathy and care, and that's the thing that is actually within their design that gives them that degree of fulfillment and allows them to deliver optimum performance. That's when they're tapping into flow. Or perhaps a musician. A musician is saying, well, I'm only happy when I'm playing my instrument or singing my songs. But really what it might be is, if you look at it more closely, going within, they're actually tapping into a space where they're creatively sharing. So enabling for the teacher, empathy and caring opportunities for the nurse, and creative sharing for the musician. Those more abstract descriptions are more accurate about the inner world of the individual, and that's who we were designed to be. The thing about tapping into flow is this. It calls on you to make an investment. It stretches you, it challenges you. Yes, it does. But in that, it takes you into the place where you're being who you were designed to be, and it delivers an internal, intrinsic reward. And that's very satisfying. It's also very helpful to others, whether you're a nurse or a teacher or so on. It actually delivers real value to people. So this is why tapping into flow is worth considering and worth pursuing, because it takes you to the space of being optimum, an optimum human being, an optimum performer, and optimum in your destiny. It gives us opportunity to tap into who we were designed on the inside. It allows us to hit those intrinsic wells, those intrinsic motivational giftings. And in the Bible, it talks about, in Romans 12, it talks about motivational gifts. And if you have a motivational gift to do X or Y, it says very clearly, do it. Don't not do it, do it. So if you have a gift, release your gifting. Let yourself go into that place where you're actually giving out to others, because you'll be fulfilling something that needs to be fulfilled, but you'll also be tapping into flow. We need to be living in the flow state. That's what it's saying. We need to be living in the flow state. We need to be expressing who we are on the inside, not living extrinsically to superficial frameworks. So it's a really interesting topic because, and it comes from positive psychology, as I say, because what it means is we are more than we think. We have more talents, more skills, more capability, more capacity, and more opportunity. So the encouragement today from this super thought is for you to look at who you are and tomorrow start tapping into flow. Thanks for being with us.